good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Sports Report After Dark. You may just be joining us after watching KU upset North Carolina with a dramatic comeback, winning 72-69. I am going to bring in my co-host so that we can get started with our evening talking sports. The biggest dick in sports, Dan the Dick Werner.
Was KU favored in that game?
4.5, I believe, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I was 4.5. Yeah, KU was favored by 4.5, if I remember correctly.
Wouldn't be an upset then, Tony.
Well, I upset in the sense that they were down by 15 at the end of the first half.
And I'm sure that North Carolina was upset.
Yes, very upset.
After they lost.
Yeah. Also behind us, may pop in from time to time, I'm sure. Josie, the CEO of Pinfall, is with us. But okay, so let's dive in here. I know one of the things you wanted to talk about. I'm going to let you open up on this first. Kareem AbdulJabbar recently made some comments in the last day or so saying that some of the things that LeBron has said and done are beneath him. There are some individuals that are criticizing his comments, some that agree. Mr. Werner, where do you stand?
First of all, I do respect Kareem AbdulJabbar. I know that he did a lot of social justice things. In the 1968, for example, he refused to play in the Olympic Games due to treatment of African Americans in the United States. So this guy has been down that road, and that's in 1968. Climate was a little more volatile back then. Don't know if you guys, anybody who was alive back then, which probably isn't very many people. It takes a little bit more to stand up back then, because there was legitimate chance of you or your family being threatened, being actually harmed at that time. It was much easier. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it was much easier to do. So LeBron has done more overall. I mean, if LeBron's done more, spoken out more, said more, been more of a social justice warrior. And I hate that fucking term. He's done more for like what he believes in than I guess. I'm not trying to compare them because I think they've both done great things for it. But at the same time, Kareem, buddy, we all see the red tape here, man. We all see what's behind this.
Right.
Who's creeping up on your all-time? If nobody knows, LeBron James is going to break Kareem AbdulJabbar. Is not only he's already got the combined and regular season scoring title. So LeBron James is already the highest scoring player technically in the history of the NBA.
Right.
The regular season title still belongs to Kareem AbdulJabbar for a while. Actually, not for very long. Probably it'll be next season.
LeBron James
will become the highest scorer of in NBA history. He will score the most points, which he'll also be the number 6 in assists, and which is ridiculous.
Right.
But it makes me recall, and I'm not gonna jerk LeBron off for a while, but I am gonna say that Mark Jackson had a quote when he said, LeBron James is going to end his career leading the league in scoring, or leading in NBA history in scoring, and that's not his best. That's not the best thing that he does on the floor. He's not the best scorer. That's not what he does.
No, and you're right, and that's the thing is LeBron's asset to a team is always is not just his ability to score; it's his ability to lead. You know, and the thing that I wonder about LeBron. And I'm never going to say that athletes should not be allowed to speak their mind. Everybody has a right to their own opinion and to defend their own beliefs. I will never criticize an athlete for being themselves and showing us that they are human. I'm a big fan of that, whether I agree with what they have to say or not. But my question is, we've seen a lot of these individuals, these social, where the antithesis of that social justice warrior term. Okay. When we think about that term, obviously a lot of those people, and the reason where that negative connotation with that term can become is the people that are a little too into what they're doing in that regard. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't defend what's right, but there becomes a point where it's too fucking much, just in simple terms. And so
absolutely.
Is it possible that really what he's saying is there have been times where LeBron had crossed that line? Because I mean, that's my question. Do you think that it's possible that that's where he could be going with it?
It's possible that that's where he's going with it. I think that the timing is strange. I think that Kareem actually appreciates what LeBron is doing. Has LeBron James put his foot in his mouth more than once on this stuff? Absolutely. The Kyle
Rittenhouse thing.
Kyle Rittenhouse thing was a
that
huge foot in mouth moment. If nobody knows about that, LeBron tweeted that Kyle Rittenhouse had crocodile tears after he got what he got found not guilty, acquitted of. He was acquitted of the crimes. LeBron said that they were crocodile tears. LeBron clearly did not read into that whole thing at all. He had no idea what he was talking about. He does that a lot. I think that he also likes to hear the sound of his own opinions a lot. I think that obviously LeBron is very, very into himself. Guys, when I defend LeBron James, I do not defend him as a person. I probably wouldn't get along with the motherfucker, to tell you the truth. He'd probably wear me out. He'd probably wear me out real bad, okay? He would probably wear me out.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
So I'm not saying like he's a great, like he seems like a good, decent dude, you know, like, but I don't think I'd be friends with him because he's on a whole different, like, his life is way weirder than mine. You know, like maybe not way weirder, but it's way different than mine is.
Right.
Well, and we've talked about this on this show and on Sports Report about we like to see athletes using their position and making some change. I will tell all day everything LeBron has done for social justice and everything, and his I Promise school is one of the best things an athlete has probably ever done for the community around him. But just like you said, Dan, he has the ability to stick his opinions where they don't belong. He had no business getting involved in the Kyle Rittenhouse thing, and he knows for a fact that the people who support Kyle Rittenhouse are going to jump on his ass.
It's one of the things that I think is really stupid about the social media world, or the social media age, as we will call this period that we're in. And it frustrates the fuck out of me. It's mentions and interactions on social media are almost a form of currency and value in today's age. And the reason that frustrates me is it's entirely possible that he could have been looking at that situation, because let's be honest, as deep as his mind goes about basketball, we'll use that as a gauge here. As deep as LeBron's mind goes when it comes to basketball, you can't tell me that dude is not smart to some extent. And so it's entirely possible that he could have been like, you know what, let's throw a log on the fire here, just to generate the traffic and the mentions a little bit. And
I mean, he definitely did that a couple of times with Trump. He definitely did that a couple of times with Trump.
He does it. Yeah, he's done it quite a few times. I'm not even defending all of his, previous comments about the things. What I am saying is, like, Kareem, but we get it. At the same time, I can't help but thinking that a little bit of this motivation might come from the fact that the only thing that has kept Kareem Abdul-Jabbar legitimate in the NBA world is the fact that he's the all-time leading scorer. He gets a lot of what he does in his living now from the fact that he is the all-time leading scorer. Does Karl Malone get the same amount of play? Karl Malone was number 2. All right.
I know he played for the Rockets. I actually like Karl Malone.
Well, he played for the Jazz.
He played for the Rockets too at one point.
Later,
not that Karl Malone, but it was. Yeah, he did play for the Rockets.
He played for the Lakers too. It was a disaster.
And the thing with this is, like, if this is really why Kareem is choosing to say this now, it's this last ditch gasp of relevancy. Like, seriously, bro, Kareem, you got rendered irrelevant for the most part while Michael Jordan was still on the court.
Yeah.
I mean,
because even though he finishes the leading scorer, and I will not deny that that's an achievement. I'm not going to deny that at all. The reason why the GOAT conversation to this point with the educated basketball fan is Jordan, Bron, and the intellectual will also throw in Kobe. Okay? So the reason why Kareem is not in that discussion is because of Jordan. But that's how quickly he got rendered irrelevant.
Well, and you go through that list, is Kareem is probably in the top 10, but he's
Absolutely.
Definitely in the top 10.
He's not. He's probably 7, 8, maybe, because you still got Shaq would go before him.
Josie, that's a good point. I actually might not put Kareem. That's crazy, but I might not put Kareem in my top 10. He might be in my 10 to 15.
That's what I'm saying. Because if I'm thinking about it after Shaq, I'm biased, but Hakeem would be on that list because he was an amazing player.
Fair argument. Fair argument.
Magic would be before Kareem on my list.
To my point, exactly with that is that the only thing that has made Kareem in everybody's top 5, well, he's the all-time leading scorer. He's all-time leading scorer. He's got to be in the top 5, right? Not necessarily. Karl Malone's not in our top 20. I wouldn't say Karl Malone's in our top 25 all-time players, right? And he was number 2.
Right. Exactly.
So Kareem knows how legitimate that made his career.
And I just think it almost makes me feel like he's being kind of petty. If that's really what it is, if it's this last-ditch gasp of relevance, the swan song.
Well, that's it. Because y'all both. Oh, sorry, Seven. But y'all both said it. Y'all both said it. He's gonna lose this record in the next year or two, and once he loses it, he has no more relevance. None. Like nothing to hang on to. And so it's a last ditch ever of relevance. He had a shot. He wants to try and bring LeBron down a little bit. But the comments he made, and then you also have this show out here right now that's not painting Kareem in a good light.
That's painting him in the accurate light, though.
Right. Accurate light, but not a good light.
Yeah, but no, a lot of people didn't know that he was like that.
Yeah, most people. I had no idea till I watched the show on how much of a dick he was.
Yeah, it barely was an issue. I really didn't either.
And there was. And I think some of that's going to come from, if you think about it, that age of the Lakers, they were the king, they were the kings of the athletic world. When you look at it today, as far as like athletes are concerned and big name athletes, it's not just one sport or one team. Like you can just start naming big names, Ronaldo, Conor McGregor.
Every sport has at least a few big names.
Exactly. And so it's a completely different environment because then they ruled that city. Like, and that's the truth. And that's the thing is, they end up ruling that city. And so when you become a ruler, you become a ruler. And sometimes that's with an iron fist. And that's the way Kareem was.
Different generation. Yeah. He's a lot too about like, I agree with you, Tony. He's a lot about like the old school style. Like they didn't talk very much. And like they all just went about their business and there was no celebrating. He's got on LeBron a couple of times about the celebration thing with the grabbing his nuts shit and like all that stuff. He's got on LeBron a couple of times.
The Cassell celebration.
It's because he doesn't like he just doesn't like the new style. Like, okay, well, buddy, you need to. He's like that old guy who doesn't want to get a cell phone. It's like, come on, man. Like you at some point, probably do it.
But on that same note, Magic was kind of one of the first guys to break that mold.
He did
celebrate. He talked to press. He talked to fans. And you got to remember, same era. I mean, Kareem was a few years ahead of Magic, but same era. And Magic broke that mold. He was one of the first guys to really step out into the public eye in basketball.
I love that, Josie. Let's go a little bit further into that. Who was the first guy then to steal Kareem's spotlight and make him not the number one focus in his life? On Magic Johnson, who tends to be a lot compared to LeBron James, seems to be the comparison to Magic Johnson, and now it comes full circle. Everyone,
LeBron because he reminds him of Magic. Oh my God!
And now it comes full circle. The first guy to take his thunder is now the last guy to take his thunder.
I think that what we need to create a segment, either for After Dark or for the Sports Report, where it's 7 degrees of separation from LeBron, and we're gonna give Dan some random name, and we've got to see if he can get it to LeBron in 7 names or less.
I would never fail. Give me one right now. Give me one right now.
Seven, we laugh at that, but I guarantee you, it's probably right. We're just gonna test this out.
Okay.
Hang on. I'm gonna try and think of the most obscure name.
Oh, I've got one. I've got one. Matt Castle.
Oh, good one.
Matt Castle and LeBron.
Yeah,
Yes.
Matt Castle, LeBron.
I can do that.
Less.
I can probably do that in less steps.
Okay, so you got 7. Let's see what you got.
So Matt Castle. How I can just connect like what teams or something? I can just connect anything.
Yeah.
Teams, players. I mean, just like
I'm
the
gonna
7 degrees of separation from Kevin Bacon.
Okay, Matt Castle. That's a good one. Sam Cassell. Is it Sam Cassell or Matt Castle?
Matt Castle.
Matt Castle. All right, that's a good one. Yeah, you're gonna have to give me a second on that one. Honestly, I can't.
We'll
come
let
on.
you work on it. We'll come back to you on that.
Hey, well, yeah. Let me think
I
about
was
it for a
going to
second.
actually give you another basketball player.
Okay, you know what? Tell you what, I'll cut you some slack. I'll go to a basketball player. Go ahead.
So
Give me
this one may be a little easy, but I'm going to say you have to link it through players. You cannot link it any other way. Kenny the Jet Smith to LeBron James. Not through commentating. Has to be linked through play.
Through players?
Yeah, like you have to link Kenny to a player, to a player, to a player.
Kenny the Jet Smith played with Robert Horry, and early in Robert Horry's career. Robert Horry played with Shaquille O'Neal. Shaquille O'Neal played with LeBron James in Cleveland in 2006.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
All
right, here we go. All right. Steve Nash.
Ooh, good
That's
one.
an easy one.
That is.
Okay.
Steve Nash played. I'll even go crazy on it with you. Okay, so I'm actually going to do it reverse. LeBron played with. Now, hang on. Give me a second. Well, I can just connect it anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, Steve Nash is the coach of the Brooklyn Nets. I mean, I don't know what my parameters are is the thing. Like, I don't know how to play this.
You're fine. Keep going.
You're fine.
Okay,
keep
so
going.
he coaches the Nets. The Nets have the Nets now have DeAndre Jordan. DeAndre Jordan played with LeBron James last year in LA.
Oh, that's right. There you go.
Did it in
Okay.
2, ladies and gentlemen. In 2.
Yeah. You just gotta let me work it out for a second.
Okay. I'll give you.
And by the end of this show, I bet you he has connected Matt Castle to LeBron.
I'll have a Castle one. Head. Yeah, I'll have a Castle one.
Okay. Your favorite player, Dirk Nowitzki.
Oh, him and Dirk?
Yeah, link him and Dirk.
I mean, obviously, I could just go reverse on the Steve Nash thing, but I'm not going to do that because I'm going to cheat that. I mean, okay, so Dirk Nowitzki.
Jason Kidd.
Yeah, you could go Jason Kidd with Jason Kidd being an assistant coach in LA 2 years ago. I'm not going to be that cheap about it, but I won't even.
So that one's there. That one counts, but see if you can find a harder method.
Yes. Yeah, we got to That's nice. That's good though. I like it.
If I can figure that one out, it's too easy.
Yeah. Yes.
I didn't even really think about the fact that one was that easy.
Right.
Okay. All right. So let's get back in here. So I wanted to talk about something because I'm really sick of First Take on ESPN talking about baseball when they clearly know nothing about the fucking sport. Today, Ilana Rizzo said that Shohei Ohtani could not be the number 1 player in baseball because he's a pitcher. And this is the same show. Exactly. This is the same show where Stephen A. Smith last year said that Shohei Ohtani couldn't be the number one player in baseball, the face of baseball, because he doesn't speak English. I don't have a problem. My criticism of Rizzo is not because she's a woman. Mina Kimes offers some of the best football takes across sports. Seriously, she's one of the best follows on Twitter. But Rizzo
it was Mina. Oh, it was
no. I'm just saying Mina. I love following Mina. I take a look at her stuff every day. But Rizzo here was so far off base because the reason, nobody thinks that Shohei Ohtani is the best pitcher in baseball. Nobody that knows the true situation. Nobody thinks that Shohei Ohtani is the best hitter in baseball because he is the only person in a century to have a above average talent in both hitting and pitching, and you can actually use him in the field. He is really not bad in left field because that's where he plays. Like a lot of times if he's not pitching and he's
a good defender.
Yeah, he is. Like, and that's the thing is it's not to say that Shohei is the best at one specific spot. The reason why Shohei is the reigning MVP and one of, if not the most popular player in baseball right now, because he has, after one full season, already staked a claim and earning a spot to be discussed in the likes of Babe Ruth. That's not an over exaggeration. That's just the truth of what it is.
That right there, that comment right there, that the only person you can compare Shohei to is Babe Ruth, automatically puts him in the conversation to being the face and the number one player in baseball. Because two-way, Seven just said it, two-way players are so rare. We haven't seen a guy like this in 60 years plus.
More than that,
right?
Yeah.
And
about 100.
The other thing that I'll say is, especially because
Jesus, you're right, pretty close to it.
Yeah, and you look at, and like, especially when you look at the way that baseball is on the lower levels before we get to the minor leagues, when we look at college, high school, travel ball,
two-way is pretty common in all of those.
No, that's the thing is your pitchers don't hit.
Oh yeah,
those guys don't get a lot of time at the plate in most leagues. Now I know that that's not the same for all of them, but for most leagues, it's one of the reasons why there was such a push for the universal DH, because I mean, when you look at it like this, there is a stat that if you were a pitcher in the National League, you were guaranteed an extra 25 strikeouts over an American League with the same number of innings played, relief pitcher, because of the fact that pitchers had to be in the lineup.
Such a weird rule. It was such a weird rule. Because it used to obviously be without the DH, so it was always both sides pitchers hit, right? Because they played the field. That's how the game was played naturally in the backyard, correct? Like that's the actual rules of the game.
Right.
It can't be like that because these guys are at such a accentuated skill level that they have to concentrate on the thing that they do. If you're a pitcher, you better fucking be focusing on pitching and not hitting, because you need to, because if you're going to be in any way successful, all your focus needs to be on doing that thing. As a hitter and a fielder, as a two-way player, you need to be able to, not a two-way player, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A regular player, not a pitcher.
Position player, right.
You need to focus on hitting and playing the field. You can't do both. This is why this is so crazy, and the amount of talent that Shohei has is so it's not even over stated. It's really just what it is like, to be a professional in both ends of that is fucking insane. I'd say it's more insane than Babe Ruth. It's more insane than Babe Ruth. Babe Ruth played against a lot of guys. There was less competition back then. Not as many people.
It wasn't near they weren't near. I mean, you look at even Babe back then. Like, the man was drinking 4 beers, smoking a cigar, and then going out and eating 2 hot dogs and then going out to play. Like, Babe wouldn't have the success that he had now against these guys.
Right. Unless he was born in like 1988.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Then he could have been a good player. But
I mean, and part of that, just the environment that he came up in, the talent pool was, as you guys said, clearly a lot smaller.
Yes.
Than what we have now, and that's what makes what Shohei is doing so remarkable. I'm not an Angels fan. I love my Trout, and you damn sure I love Shohei, but I'm not an Angels fan. Mm-hmm. But to sit and see this remarkable individual do something that hasn't been done in a literal century to this level of skill, you know, it frustrates me to see people that know so little about baseball talk about those things.
Really, this whole argument breaks down to one thing, and that's First Tank needs a fucking baseball guy. Like, seriously.
Tony, don't
put my name in fucking hat.
I'm agreeing. Hey, so what was her name that made the comment?
Ilana Rizzo.
Okay, I'm agreeing with her, and here's why I'm agreeing with her. I think that she was saying that he can't do it on a long-term basis. I think she was saying that there's no way. Babe Ruth eventually stopped pitching and became a full-time first baseman hitter, right?
Right.
So I think that what she's saying is it's not sustainable to do this for his entire career. Because he won't. When he's in his 30s, late 30s, mid 30s, he's gonna have to pick one or the other. He'll probably pick pitching, honestly, or whatever one he's more apt to pick. I don't know. The guy's so talented, it doesn't really matter. But I think that's what she was saying more is like that he can't be. What was the actual quote? Will you read me the actual quote again?
I don't think Shohei Ohtani can be the number one player because he's a pitcher. And here's the thing that I will say to somewhat support what she's saying. In an argument, if you look at Babe Ruth's numbers, because again, this is the only logical player that we can compare Shohei to at this point in his career. Babe Ruth became a better hitter once he stopped pitching. And so, you know, there is always there is the legitimate argument that, you know, that almost that you can't serve two masters thing.
You put that really well, Tony. I think that's what I'm trying to say.
And I do get that to a point. But I think the thing of it is right now, Shohei is the number one player because he's doing both. So because he's a pitcher and because he's a hitter, he is the number one player right now.
And to your point, if you single out his just pitching stats and single out his just batting stats, he's top three. He's top 3 Cy Young. He's top 3 MVP right now, regardless. I don't know if they're probably going to split hairs with numbers, but he's top 2 or 3 in both sides. So just split him into 2 different players. Shohei Ohtani could win a Cy Young and an MVP. So that's why, like you said, he is the best player. Clearly, he's the best player in baseball.
You're right on that, Seven, because he's having to focus, and I'm sure one day he's practicing pitching, the next day he's in the cage, and then pitching.
No, he doesn't do the batting cages.
Well, I'm just saying, like, he's having to focus on 2 aspects.
Crazy talented.
He's not, like you said, Babe's numbers went up because after that, he only had to focus on hitting. He didn't have to worry about pitching. And I don't know what Shohei does as far as his pitching regimen, or his hitting regimen, but he's still having to take a little bit of time out of pitching to work on hitting, or take a little time out of hitting to work on pitching. So I agree with both of you. At some point, he's gonna have to make a choice.
Here's the thing I want to, you know, that we need to remember in all of this, okay? I just made a comment, and I'm going to repeat myself. Shohei Ohtani does not take batting practice.
Yep. Crazy talented.
So what that means, the remarkable numbers that he's putting up as a hitter comes with no time in batting practice after spring training. And if you need confirmation of the fact that that's the way this is done, go watch Shohei Ohtani get interviewed before the Home Run Derby last year. His first time taking batting practice during the regular season last year was at the Home Run Derby.
Yeah.
That is how remarkable of a player Shohei Ohtani is.
Hit
So
46 homers.
You can't tell me he's not the number one player in baseball right now because of things like that. That's like, I mean, that's like, there's nothing you can compare that to.
No.
It's
stupid. Stupid.
Insanely talented. Okay, and I only bring this up on this show because we talk about whatever. And we all know that Stephen A's comments last year were about race. Do you think part of this is because he's not American? Why they're saying that comment? Why? Because Major League Baseball is supposed to be America's sport, and a lot lately, it's not. Like you look at the players, they're coming from Puerto Rico. They're coming.
It's been
from
the Dominican Republic
they're
sport for a while.
From Japan, they're coming from Mexico.
It hasn't been an American-dominated sport since the 90s.
It's true.
Because
but
those guys in the Dominican, and I think it could be that the media is just now recognizing, because they weren't paying attention to baseball, that baseball has been gradually transitioning to where it is a very diverse sport, and there's no other way to say it. Now, yes, there are a lot of the diversity comes from players that come from some of the Latin American countries and from South America and stuff like that. But we have more and more players coming over from Korea, from Japan.
I mean, Japan's baseball league is bigger than the MLB right now. Like Japan,
in their country, yes,
in Japan,
yeah, in Japan, yes,
yeah. And I'm not talking nationwide or worldwide, but
and that's one of the remarkable things. And there's so many talented individuals that are coming out of Japan, that are coming out of Korea. Seiya Suzuki just signed with the Cubs. He is a remarkable player.
I'm excited to see him play.
I was disappointed that the Red Sox did not sign him, but I got over that because of the fact that they got Story. So I'm willing to forgive that, but I really wanted Boston to sign Seiya Suzuki because that dude has a bat that you would not believe, and he has some wheels on him. And
Ichiro kind of opened the door on that.
And exactly, Ichiro was a leader in some of those Asian and we'll say Pacific Island countries, I think is the proper term. I can't remember. For like, Korea, China, Japan, stuff like that. And coming from that area, the Philippines as well. There's been a few players that have tried to get in, have been started to come up in the MLB. But there has been a diversity. The diversity has grown in the MLB. It's almost been naturally, but also because these owners realized that they could go drop $100,000 in the Dominican Republic and create a baseball team and change these kids' lives and keep them off the street.
Well, you look at what the Astros did with like Tuve and Correa, and I mean
Salvador Perez came up in the Royals farm system and the international system. He's been with the Royals organization since he was 16 years old.
Yeah,
I mean, you think about those guys.
Another one.
You think about all those guys, and had they not been scouted by some major league team, they'd be living in poverty. And they literally changed these guys' lives to the point that Correa just got 150 million for 2 years, something like that.
It's 35.1 million a year average annual value for 3 years. So it's like 106 million, 110 million, something like that in the deal.
So
like ridiculous.
And he signed with the Astros at 17 years old. 17 was playing on their minor league team. Played with them for 10 years, became one of the best shortstops we've probably seen in 20 years. And
that's why this other thing that I wanted to talk about with baseball that just surprises the fuck out of me. So there was a minor league player that shared on Twitter Saturday. He had been sent to minor league camp, and he plays for the Orioles. The Orioles paid for a year of rent and furnished a townhome and helped get stuff that was needed for him and his wife and his kids and the family and stuff, and get that stuff moved into the place. so that he didn't have and took care of everything so he didn't have to worry about it. He could focus on playing. This was shocking to the MLB community because the owners don't do that for the players once they're in the States. They have to struggle. Now, unless it's one of those generational talents almost like Yachty, like Salvi, like Correa, stuff like that, those very rare players, most of these guys are, if you're playing single A ball, you're getting $15,000 a year. They're not paying your expenses. Sometimes they'll wash your uniforms. Yeah. It's, these guys, a lot of these guys that are in playing, they're supposed to be professional baseball players. They're just in the minor leagues and they're working 2 and 3 jobs just to be able to play baseball because of the remarkable amount of money that it costs to maintain equipment and make sure that you are also maintained and in shape so that you can try to get to that top tier.
1931, on a kind of off note, Babe Ruth got paid $80,000, which was the highest contract in Major League Baseball. 80 grand.
And the league's treatment of minor league players is a problem.
It is atrocious. Honestly, atrocious.
The league committed to making sure that every team, and is saying that every team was required to take care of housing for all of their minor league players, but it hasn't been. It's not done yet. These guys still aren't in their homes for the season. Haven't gotten any information on when that's going to happen.
There's so many of them too.
Most of these guys didn't even get any accommodations taken care of for them for spring training. They got invited down to camp. They had to take care of and pay for that stuff themselves.
Wearing their own sweatshirts and shit. You know what I'm saying? Wearing their own sweatshirts and that's craziness. Well, Tony, it's because there's too many of them. There should not. Why is there 3 leagues? But there's 3 or 4 leagues at this point.
Well, they've cut it down to 3. It's 3 minor league teams per professional team.
And
single A, double A, triple A, right?
But yeah, it is. But it's almost like there's only 2. Single A doesn't really count much anymore. Well, some teams don't even have one. They'll
dissolve out and play some single A teams, but not be in the.
Yeah. It's a choice. So a lot of teams have done away with their single A, and they just
have the double and triple,
and triple.
They play slow pitch and single A.
Well, I tell you, I have gotten really into the Savannah Bananas on TikTok, and I tell you, some of the
dude, I've been watching their games live. You can watch their games live on YouTube now. It's the Harlem Globetrotters in baseball.
Minor league baseball so much fun. The dude will be up there about to throw a pitch, and he'll break into a TikTok dance and then throw the pitch.
They have a guy that does his at-bats on stilts.
Yes.
That's awesome.
But if a fan catches a foul ball, it's an out.
It's an out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Last night, I watched it.
All they need is Jim Brockmeyer to commentate.
But it's fun to see how much fun the players are having. Yes, the fans love it, but the players are having so much fun. Even the ups get in on it.
There's a Red Sox Hall of Famer who's 75 years old, a couple nights ago, went down and struck out a batter with a beer in his hand.
And
beautiful.
I was
absolutely. Oh my God, Savannah Banana games are the shit to watch.
I was stationed in Savannah when they were the Bees. And it wasn't near this fun. I would have season tickets to this. I'd be going to every game because it looks like a blast. It looks so much fun. And that's one of the reasons I prefer minor leagues anyway. I love going to the Round Rock Express games because they're more fan interactive.
One of the things that's interesting about the league that the Bananas play in is it's technically an independent league. But it's still owned by the MLB, which is weird enough, and mostly funded by the MLB.
It's a pro-am league.
And 50% of these guys get contract buyouts by MLB clubs and get a shot. Half the guys in this league end up getting a shot to go to the show. That's fantastic. I think And yes, Dan is right to a point that there are a lot of these programs and these things like this, and it doesn't necessarily need to be like in Canada, and there are so many different minor league hockey systems in Canada, and it's the same thing. It's dog shit money for whale shit talent.
Well,
Right.
there's a team in Texas. They're the Sugarland Skeeters, and up until last year, they were an independent team, weren't involved in any, like, I think they're minor league or major league affiliated in some way or form. But then all of a sudden, the Astros drop Round Rock Express and pick up the Skeeters as their AAA team.
Interesting.
Yeah, that happened this past season. So
there is, and there's definitely some things, and the MLB, I think, has started to realize that you can effectively test certain things using the minor league systems, and they weren't doing it that way before. The robot strike zones, they're testing.
I heard that's going to start making an appearance this year in the major.
Yeah, it's AAA. It's in AAA.
Oh, AAA this year.
It is AAA. One of the things that is going to be popping up in the majors this year is they are, to prevent sign stealing, they have developed a device where the catcher can relay the pitch to the catcher, or the catcher can relay the pitch to the pitcher through a device on their wrists. And that it's, only they can see it, only they know what it is. You can't grab it from a camera angle or anything like that. Right. It's like they got to have an Apple Watch. Basically is what it is it's like each of them have an Apple Watch and they're sending a text message. Curveball, bro. Nah, bro. Hey, man, did you see that chick in row 6? She's fucking, yeah. Right. I mean, it's guys, it's young guys. Come on. Not all of these guys have their girls with them. Most women don't stay with a guy that had to go through minor leagues. They make shit money and they're gone like 9 months out of the fucking year. But no, and so there's definitely some interesting things that you can utilize these leagues for. But if you're going to have these players, they deserve to make a living wage. I'm not saying you make them all millionaires. We can be realistic.
At least 30 grand.
It's also what we've talked about with the strike too, Seven, is the service time and how you can play in the minors for years and years and years and years. And then you go up and you're considered a rookie. And none of that time that you've spent with that team transfers.
But they don't want to, though, is the thing, like, because they want to. I mean, honestly, if you're like a really good rookie, you don't want to have all your minor league ball stuff.
I agree with that. But where I have an issue with it is when you have a guy come up, plays a year, then gets sit back down, and then he's basically got to start over.
It's only fair, honestly, because he's not going to get those same statistics against major league pitching or against, what I'm saying, like against major league batters.
Well, and the problem is well, and what he's talking about is the way that they manipulate. They had been, and it looks like they'll make a difference this year. We'll see what happens, but what they're talking about is they'll call somebody up that's technically, still on the rookie deal, and you have to get a certain number of actual total games in before before you're no longer considered a rookie. And so because they want to keep them on that rookie deal as long as they can, they'll just keep sending them back down just to get out of not giving them credit for that time. And they're making less money when they get sent back down to AAA.
Especially if that player tends to be kind of like a project and it's like they're not in contention anyway. Like, let's get him back down so we don't have to pay the tax on it or whatever. I get what you're saying. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I got you.
And that was – go ahead.
No, it's the same thing with you have to win 50, you have to play 50 games before you can be considered for rookie of the year or any of the awards. And it just ends up screwing so many players.
And there is one of the things that I like that they did in the CBA is, first of all, the players that win American League and National League Rookie of the Year get credit for a year of service time regardless of how many games they play. Which I think that just makes sense. I think that's a great way to do it. And you also have incentives for the clubs for any players that are, in that early that rookie year, if they are on the roster on opening day and they end up in contention, they don't have to win like the Cy Young or the Gold Glove or Silver Slug or whatever, all those things. If they are just in contention to a certain point, the club can get compensatory draft picks, money, stuff like that. So it's beneficial to the clubs to start letting these guys get their time in if they're ready. And I don't know that it's going to fix everything. I can't pretend because these owners are nutsacks and they try to steal any way they can. But I think it's better. Definitely better.
And it also plays towards, like you said, like getting them more developed is going to help the game overall too. You know, nobody wants to see people striking out all the time. Honestly, like that's why.
No. That's one of the things that kills baseball.
Pete Rose. I struck out 240 times to shoot myself in the head.
The only people who enjoy a pitching duel game are announcers, or diehard baseball fans who
me and Seven tend to like a good pitching duel.
But y'all are what I would consider pretty diehard baseball fans.
And we also figure out that it's going on, both get really, really high, sit there on video chat, smoking a bowl and just watching it go on because it's something that we can enjoy.
Right. Amazing.
But the casual fan like me or someone else, that's not exciting for them.
Right. No, they want to see that. Chicks dig the long ball.
Chicks dig the long ball, and Josie, I think you're finding out what is happening to the game of baseball right now because you have this backlash from the old school guys, and I'm not even old school. Obviously, I don't think me or Tony are old school guys about it.
No, definitely.
But at the same time, like you're getting pushback from the old school guys because you're gonna stop seeing the point where there can be a dominant pitcher battle because it's going to become about a lot of offense. They're going to force it that way. And that's because they want to draw the non-diehard fan. And because you have to, if you're going to, there's so many people who watch football on a weekly basis who aren't diehard football fans. You cannot say that about Major League Baseball.
No,
it is. It's just fun. It jumps off the screen. It's fun to watch as a sport, even if you don't know anything about it.
Yeah, the reason I would say the same thing about wrestling is people watch it. Even the casual fan watches it because they find it exciting. Like I'm consider myself a hardcore fan. I watch probably 20 to 30 hours of wrestling a week. I'm a fanatic. I understand that, but I love it. It excites me where until you get into I'll watch the first few games of opening day because I love opening day. I think it's amazing. And it just that opening day feel. But after that, I'll watch the home run derby, the All-Star game, and then the playoffs.
Right.
And that's the thing is, what I was going to say was, one of the things that we've talked about with the MLB's mismanagement of how they handle the steroid era and things since is the steroid era saved baseball. It legitimately did. And it was because you had more guys going yard. You had more balls in play. It made baseball exciting. And I understand, for argument's sake, they didn't go about it the right way. Okay? That's a completely different discussion that Dan and I have had 1,000 times.
Yeah.
But the truth of the matter is, the reason that it saved baseball was because the balls in play made things more exciting. So they're going to incentivize getting these young guys that can hit onto the field. And they're taking away the shift as well, which is another clear sign. They're not going to try and make teams focus on directional hitting, which is very fucking hard, I'll admit. They want balls in play. Plain and simple. They want balls in play.
Well, like you're playing fucking MLB The Show.
They want video game numbers. Yep. They don't give a fuck about your ERA.
Well, I remember when I think I've seen it once or twice in my entire life when a triple play could be a thing. I don't remember the last time that you've heard even that being attempted, but that's because of things.
You get one or two. You get one or two a year.
Last triple play was last year.
Yeah, you get one or two a year.
But the unassisted triple play is the most rare play in baseball. There's only been like 6 or something like that all time.
With doing away with the shift, bringing up these hitters, that also adds the chance that that's more likely to see, which I'm sorry, as someone who's seen one, that is one of the most exciting plays in baseball.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
All of a sudden, wipe it out. It's crazy to watch. You think a double play is exciting? Watch a catcher throw from third, then go to second, then go to first, and wipe out the play.
It's almost like it seems like physics-wise impossible. You're like, how are they bending it around like that? Like that almost seems like that shouldn't happen.
It's like Matrix.
It's an unreal thing to watch.
Because the natural movement of everybody, it's like, oh, that shouldn't be able to happen, and it does.
It's a cool thing. You can go on YouTube and just search like MLB triple plays, and you'll see some really cool videos. It's a remarkable thing to watch.
Hey, okay, so real quick. Here's the rarest plays in baseball, just the top 5.
Okay.
Number 5 is home run on first pitch in Major League Baseball. So the first pitch the guy sees, hits a home run, happened 21 times. 4 home runs in a 9-inning game. There's been 15. 2 grand slams in the same game by the same player. This happened 12 times. Hitting for the cycle with a grand slam happened 6 times. 7 hits in a 9-inning game has happened twice. And so these are the twice ones. Home run from both sides of the plate in the same inning from one player has happened twice. And an unassisted triple play has happened twice.
That's insane.
That's insane.
Isn't that nuts?
And see, those 3 that you listed are probably some of the most exciting things you'll see in baseball.
Well, the 7 hits isn't, because you get that over, you know what I'm saying? Like that's going to happen over a 7-inning game. You could watch a whole game and not realize until he's on the 6th one that's even happening. But actually,
and that's one of those games where it's a blowout. Like,
I was going to say,
what was that game the other day? It was like 28-4 or 29-4.
Right.
The one that probably almost gave Tony La Russa that fucking heart attack. That angry.
We can only hope.
Oh God.
7 be doing a dance on screen right now.
No. Hold on. Don't know. I would not wish.
I'm not saying he wishes death on anybody, but
if he were to just be like walking around and happen to look down all of a sudden and somebody slammed a door in his face, I would love to see that video. I would pay hundreds of dollars to see that video.
Tony, I hope he gets Lou Gehrig's disease. Honestly, I mean,
come on,
damn.
Come on. I was watching a Family Guy episode the other day where they said,
I'm keeping it in baseball.
A young Yankees fan got his dream. It was a Family Guy joke. It was a Tom Tucker opening. He said a young Yankee fan got his dream and got Lou Gehrig's disease. And I was like, what?
Yes.
What?
They've done a couple about that, where one of them is like where Lou Gehrig is actually in the episode. He's like in black and white. Yeah, he's like in black and white. And he's like, what?
What is his obsession with Lou Gehrig?
I have no idea.
Question.
They just want to make it the most fucked up thing they can possibly make it. And Lou Gehrig,
I think at this point he's just like, how far can we go with this?
Right. Well, it's all those Family Guy Jewish writers. They always talk about that too. It's always the Jewish writers.
The Jewish writers.
Always Family Guy Jewish writers. There's like really 8 of them.
Which is really just Seth MacFarlane.
Yeah.
There's actually like 7 or 8 guys that are all Jewish guys, including Seth, that all
including
write for
Seth.
What is that one? Shari?
Chevy Chevreptum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The name is like this long.
20 letters long. And they're like, she's actually Middle Eastern. She's Arab.
And very talented as well. I've seen, there's some
she's
stuff
produced for like 10 years.
And she's directed a few episodes as well, and there's some good episodes.
Yeah.
And I think that he's gotten her on pretty much everything he's done because of how good she is at what she does.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's remarkable. Remarkable, talented person, long ass fucking name that I think she probably says it wrong sometimes.
Every time I see it on the show, I try and pronounce it. I'm like, nope, not gonna happen.
Peter stops during one of the intros in one of the episodes. You can find it. He stops and they pause on Sherry Chevrepton or whatever, and like he's like, yeah, this is real, by the way. He's like, that's a real name. He's like, that's a real name. And like they just go back to it. They just like come back to it.
Yeah, great. Okay, and then I think there was one other thing I wanted to talk about.
I feel like there was something.
Colin Kaepernick's workout.
The
Michigan State, the Caps workout at the Michigan State game at halftime.
Means nothing.
And he did also say that he was willing to be a backup quarterback. Do you think that because I know that there was a long time where he was like, no, I'm a starter. I'm good enough to be a starter. I'm a starter. And that was his position. Do you think that him saying he's willing to be a backup changes the discussion?
Unfortunately, as much as I would love to see it, no. It's
been too long.
It's been too long. He hasn't played in too long. You have no idea what he's going to come back as. 2, there's all still so much hatred on the man. There's
Guys, here's the thing.
Go ahead.
What I was going to say was because I went back and I didn't watch it live, but I went back and I watched the videos of the workout. I think the only chance that we have of seeing him on any kind of a professional field is if the XFL or the USFL talks him into taking shit money to play them, hoping that it can give him a chance.
It's what he should do first.
Honestly, I mean, I think that's what's going to take
for him, especially with the XFL now being run by The Rock and all that. It probably wouldn't be a bad idea if he could sign QB for one of those teams.
And then, in the famous words of Bill Belichick, everyone looks good throwing in mesh shorts and a cutoff. Did you watch that video? Like everybody.
Yeah. No, that's a valid.
I mean, Seven, you look good throwing out routes and mesh shorts and a cutoff.
I do not.
You don't have a good over the top.
No,
you don't curve the hand at the end. You don't have the hand curve.
You do not. The only thing that I'm good at is coverage and blitzing the run. Like that's what I can do. I am not
on 7-on-7. You're the guy who blitzes. Like you're the guy who stands 5 yards back and just runs after the quarterback.
I'm a mid linebacker. That's what these wide shoulders are for. Because my tree trunk legs, I'm not getting up to speed with some fucking 4.3, sub 4.3 40 fucking wide receiver. Not a chance in hell. Not a chance in hell.
The spot that I play on flag football teams is I immensely over cocky myself into 2 plays, and then I have to go out because I smoke too many cigarettes. That's my position on the flag football field.
Yep.
I've run the 40 yards, and I'm like, ooh, I get burned for a touchdown. I'm like, hey.
Oh, there was something that was something I wanted to bring up. Did any of y'all, and I don't know if this was a joke or not, but I've seen it twice now. Did any of y'all hear this rumor that the Browns are shopping around Deshaun to build around Baker?
I love that as a conspiracy theory. That's not.
I mean, that's what it seems like.
It's not going to happen.
That's what it seemed like to me. And then I saw 2 different articles on it. I was like, what the fuck?
No. The reason why Baker Mayfield has not gotten traded, because I guarantee you some teams have called. If no teams have called, they're fucking stupid. Baker Mayfield, I'm not saying he's going to be your new franchise guy, but he's a stopgap until you get a better quarterback draft class.
100%.
And
he's serviceable.
But until the NFL says how long Deshaun Watson is getting suspended for, they're not going to trade him. They're going to force him to play.
Yeah.
They're going to force him to play until Deshaun Watson comes back. The only thing he can hope for is that he manages to put up good enough numbers that when Deshaun comes back from his suspension, he gets traded to a comparable squad that he can push into the next level. Maybe the Dolphins cave and grab him at that point.
Does Jared Goff making a Super Bowl make it more plausible that Baker Mayfield, under perfect conditions, could make it to or win a Super Bowl?
He would have to have
it would have to be a perfect storm.
It would have to be he would have to have Tampa Bay or the Chiefs. He would have to have the Chiefs.
Honestly, here's the thing:
if
you put Baker Mayfield on the Miami Dolphins offense, you take out Tua and you put Baker in, that is a playoff team.
Significantly better. Yeah,
that is a playoff team, and that's the thing. To be a Super Bowl contender, you just have to be a playoff team. Because at that point, all you got to do is win, which is obviously easier said than done. But the Cowboys, if they took their heads out of their ass because they are a playoff team, could be a Super Bowl contender. Because it's 4 games, 3 to 4 games. That's all you got to win.
Say what you want about Baker. He has what an NFL scout would call intangibles. Mm-hmm. He has one of my favorite words in football. He has moxie. He does. He's moxie-full. I don't think that's a word, but yeah.
I think he's and there are some people that are going to think this is a disrespectful comment when I say it like this, but I don't mean it that way. He's Josh Allen if you ordered Josh Allen on Wish.
Yes. Sometimes he just doesn't fit together.
He's good in the community. He's got a good attitude. When he's on, he wins you games. He ended the Browns playoff drought of 26 years. As a rookie, he's a Heisman Trophy winner. I mean,
Great
under
athlete.
the right circumstances, yeah, he's a remarkable athlete. Under
Tony,
the right circumstances,
I'll go as far as
yes.
to say this. You make Baker Mayfield 5 inches taller and 30 pounds heavier, exactly how he is right now, not a joke, exactly how he is right now, if he can still move like that, that's Josh Allen.
Yeah,
make him
absolutely.
make him 6'5" and 235, and Baker Mayfield is a perennial Pro Bowl, Super Bowl winning caliber quarterback. Honestly, if he's just a bigger dude. Because what's the difference? I mean, he's got all of the intangibles. He has everything that you need, except for he's not big enough. He's going to get fucking busted up all his career long. He is going to get fucking hit so hard. He thinks that he can lower his shoulder like he's in Norman, Oklahoma, just running the ball. Like, have you seen the fucking cop video of Norman, Oklahoma?
Yeah.
That's him just trying to run from NFL DNs. It's a mess, is what it is.
And that's another reason why I draw that comparison to Josh Allen, because Josh Allen does the same thing. But again, Josh Allen's also got 50 pounds and about 5 inches of height on him.
Josh Allen's a fullback. That's
exactly
6'5". Yeah,
exactly. And so that's the thing is, and that's why you've got to put, because Miami has made some upgrades on their line and their offense. Clearly, they're getting ready. I think I like them grabbing that offensive lineman, that offensive tackle in the first round. I think that's a very realistic pick for them. And so you add that in. Tua is not a Super Bowl. He's not a playoff quarterback, even with that all of that talent. Miami still has the potential with a good quarterback to have one of the best offenses in the NFL.
Quarterback.
I'm not
in the NFL. He's not.
I'm not ready. I'm not on that train with you guys. I'm not ready to discount Tua completely out of being able to win football games.
He needs time behind somebody that knows what they're doing before he's ready to win football games. Also,
he's a lefty, so his right tackle is actually the more important one to him, not his left tackle, because they guard his back.
Okay. All right. That is
his left tackle is actually not the important player, and you can't just switch a guy from left tackle who's played left tackle his entire life to right tackle. So you actually need a pass defending, back guarding right tackle, which are very rare and specify. You can obviously switch a guy. Eric Fisher, for example, was a great right tackle who could defend left-handed quarterbacks, even though he didn't ever have one. But that would be kind of like an Eric Fisher type guy.
Well, honestly, I think Orlando Brown would probably be another example of that because he switched from left to right.
Exactly. So if they can move, and they switch to right usually because they can't move quite as good, because obviously the defense is always going to have the backside of the quarterback is always going to have the pressure guy, the guy who gets the most pressure, because obviously there's a disadvantage for the quarterback with his back to him. Can't see him. Right. So you switch him around, you just switch everything around. Maybe he hasn't had that proper guy. Obviously Cleveland hasn't had the proper offensive line for fucking years at this point.
At all. Because they didn't have one when Baker got into the playoffs either.
In a better comparison, Tony, what do you think about not Josh Allen, Cam Newton? If you make Baker Mayfield, besides I guess their demeanor and stuff, but like as a player, as just on the field, you make Baker Mayfield 6 inches taller and 60 pounds heavier. With
Baker's same skill now?
Yes, because I think Baker is probably as fast easily and probably as quick as Cam Newton. The kicker is
I'll give you that.
70 pounds more.
Yeah.
And he's also like 6 inches taller. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And they kind of have
I'll give you that. Yeah.
No, I would agree with that because Baker,
that.
I believe Baker is a talented QB. It's his size that holds him back.
Kills him.
And Kyler Murray is the same thing. I think Kyler Murray has more talent around him, and that's why he's able to get away with more. But his size is a problem for him.
Dude, exactly. To your point, if you take fucking Kyler Murray and make him 6'6" and 270, that's the greatest quarterback that has ever fucking played in the NFL.
Yeah.
Ever.
That's a better quarterback than Patrick Mahomes.
That would be rivaling like Peyton.
Disgusting.
Montana.
It would be rivaling nothing we've ever seen.
Exactly.
It would be nothing we've ever seen. It would be Cam Newton with the passing ability of Peyton Manning. That would be what that is. You know what I'm saying? Like
that
disgusting.
mobility and that kind of an arm. And that's the thing is when Kyler has time to throw, he is ridiculous. Because especially like as you look at that catch that D-Hop made last year, somebody had to put that ball where D-Hop could only get it. Guess who that was? Kyler fucking Murray and his 5'10" ass. That's the thing.
From
put
not
that
being able
skill
to see when he's throwing the ball.
You give somebody with that much skill, 70 pounds and 8 inches of height. That's the best quarterback in the NFL.
Game's going to be easy for him.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But here's the thing too. Obviously, there's subjective things here, like the fact that he learned how to play this game at that size. So is he going to be the same player? Does that make sense? Like, is he going to throw the ball the same? Is he going to make the same reads because he's had to do it from a 5'8" frame? Is he going to then change
some of his play does compensate for that. So that's a fair argument.
Yeah. So it's kind of a weird thing because that's why hypotheticals are so weird because you can't just throw it in and say that it's not going to be different players because he's.
But look at Patrick Mahomes. I mean, there's definitely some similarities there in the play style between the two is because they're both very mobile quarterbacks. Now, Patrick Mahomes is more about the fact that he's used to pressure and thinking on his feet, whereas Kyler Murray is used to having to try and get to a point where he's got a proper vantage point so that he can actually see to make a play. So,
right.
Is it, because Pat Mahomes is what, 6'4"?
6'1". He's
6'1". So he's about
215.
He's
a pudgy 215.
He's a pudgy 215. So he's got about 30 pounds on Kyler and what, 4 inches of height, I think is what it is.
Something like that, around that area. Yeah.
So,
he's tall enough.
But Patrick is in that tall enough area.
Yeah.
6'3".
Is he 6'3"?
That's what they have him billed as.
I was going to say, there's no way. He was
6'1" at the NFL Combine. He's not 6'3".
Yeah, that's what they have him billed as. His build.
He's my adopted son, guys. I know how fucking tall my son is.
He's billed at 6'3", 230.
I'll give him a pudgy 230 at 6'1".
I'll give him
30 with a 33 and a quarter arm span and 9 and a quarter hand.
You know that motherfucker just gets Cinnabon all the time and just eats it like in bed, right?
Next to his crazy ass wife.
His crazy wife who's also got Cinnabon and she hasn't eaten any of it. She just licks the frosting off of all of them. She licks the frosting off of them and makes him eat the rest of them. They just do weird stuff, bro.
Man, I'm used to. Here's the thing.
And brother just sitting there watching.
Yeah, just
I'm used to crazy chicks, man. Since I was that guy that was friends with all girls in high school, girls like Brittany Mahomes, I was friends with those chicks. It doesn't faze me. Like
I love it.
She's just living in her own little world, man. Yep. She's a female version of Prince. Just let her live her life because she don't give a fuck about you.
No fucking idea what's going on in the real world. She's just
not a clue.
all up in that constructed universe.
And I mean it respectfully. It's
just playing Sunshine Girls Can't Step in Line. All the time. It's just constantly playing in her head.
And that's the thing. That's the thing that frustrates me about the whole, all the heat that Jackson Mahomes and Brittany Mahomes get. Like, y'all, the reason that they are in the attention so much is because y'all keep paying attention to them.
Yep.
Like, I don't give a fuck what.
I did not want that to pop up yet. I'm going to talk about that in a second. I want to let you finish.
I want you to see what you're doing in your. I'm just kidding.
I don't need to see your porn countdown, man. Like, I understand that you're limiting it to wheeze yourself off of your porn addiction, but we don't need to see the counter on the show.
We just hear a buzzer in a second. He's like, I gotta go. We're like, that was weird.
He didn't turn his mic off, and all we hear is.
Yep. For some reason, Jackson is covered in the Cinnabon icing.
But these guys live in a different world. I mean, you have to remember, Brittany and Patrick have been together since they were in high school. Patrick's dad is a former professional baseball player. Their world is different than the rest of us.
Yes.
She's always been a spoiled little rich girl. They lived that preppy varsity blues, or it'd be varsity not blues. Fucking homecoming queen and king. Yeah.
That's the thing. It's just don't even worry about him. And that's my whole thing is like, I don't fucking care.
I bet there's weirder stuff going on in the NFL wives/brothers department. I guarantee you on that one. We can get a couple of those stories going. You guys would be like, oh my God.
Oh, good
what?
Lord.
She does what now? She does what?
I mean, because Like Eli Manning's clearly the more attractive of the Manning brothers. You don't think
God.
Peyton Manning's wife ever looked at Eli and went, he's the dumber brother, but he's definitely the better looking one.
Well,
I mean,
at least every time Eli put on a helmet, he didn't get like a red mark right here. That is the thing I always knew Peyton for. Because
what's the other brother's name?
Archie.
No, that's their dad. The other brother is Davis.
Davis, I think that's it.
No, it's not. It's not Davis. Something Manning. He's actually the good-looking one.
Oh yeah, the one that doesn't play football. Yeah,
doesn't play football.
Are you sure his name's not?
The funny one is not Peyton, by the way, either. The funny one is fucking Eli.
Cooper.
Dude.
That's who.
Cooper. There you
Cooper. go. Okay.
Dude, Eli's the fucking funniest one for real.
He really is.
Peyton's the most successful, clearly.
But see, Cooper he's the father of the next big Manning, which is Arch. That's his kid.
Arch. It would be Arch. His name is actually Arch, I think. It's not Archie.
Yeah,
it's
actually
Arch
Manning.
Manning.
Arch. His name is Arch Manning, but he calls him Archie.
He's the number one ESPNU quarterback right now.
Looks like
he's got a neck like a fucking baby giraffe.
He's committed to UT.
They all have necks like giraffes.
Well, and here's what's even crazier. Think about this. Because of the fact that Joe Buck and Troy Aikman are now going to be Monday Night Football hosts,
Peyton
and Eli, that Manning cast is going to get even more popular because of the fact that the other option is Troy Aikman and Joe Buck.
That's what it's going to start. That's what I think a lot of, on a kind of off subject, that's a lot of what this is going to go to. This broadcasting part is going to start going to guys who are literally just doing podcasts while watching the game, but they're still calling the game. It's going to be so much of it now. Like, cause it's so entertaining. That format's so good. Like
it. And here's the thing. Joe Buck is one of the most iconic baseball announcers in history. And I will acknowledge that.
I respect the shit out of Joe Buck. Honestly.
I respect it. Yeah. And I do. I respect the shit out of Joe Buck. But when you look at the style that Buck and Aikman are going to have, that Buck and Aikman have, it's the same thing they've had for 10 years.
Yep.
That style is dying. People, especially the younger generation, I would not be surprised to see them start doing this with baseball soon, because this is going to be one of the ways you get the guys from John Boy calling a game. You get the guys from John Boy calling Yankees, Red Sox, Yankees, Dodgers, Red Sox, Dodgers. That's going to be a hell of an experience to watch. That would be a great broadcast to watch. And so with what Peyton and Eli are doing, I think you're right. I think that's the way that all of these are going to end up going at some point.
Yep. Just that kind of free, that more, obviously it's going to be more free. They're going to free up the whole, hand 1 and 2, a fastball striking by, you know what I'm saying? It's baseball radio died for a reason. Really. I mean, I love the old baseball radio guys, but it died for a reason.
No, it did. It's a very dry approach. And I think that you, with this change that they're doing in the NFL, go ahead.
What baseball needs is Tyler. Just Tyler commentating with Dan doing the play.
Oh God.
Yes. The whole he knows nothing about it is the fucking best comical kicker of all time, dude. When I heard that, I was that's so good. He's the guy who's supposed to know all the rules, and he doesn't know any of them. And then I'm coming in out of left field, not talking about anything, and I know all the rules. He's got to get him out of me. It's the best. It'd be the best dynamic ever.
You see, and that's why I think once I get MLB The Show, that's what we're going to do. We're going to do
trial runs. We're just going to run them on here.
Well, we'll do them on my Twitch channel. We'll just run MLB The Show. You know, I could do last year's MLB The Show. Wait,
I was going to say, I have 21. I have 21.
Do you know what I went and watched after we had that conversation Thursday?
What?
I was watching clips of Brockmire all night. If you guys have not seen the show Brockmire,
it's so good.
Oh my God, dude.
Yeah.
Hank Azaria is a fucking genius. That is one of the greatest shows I think that they have ever done on select premium television is
Absolutely.
Brockmire. Dude, it's so good. It's so fucking funny.
No, we've got to figure that out though with the being able to play that on a console and then have you guys still connected on the stream commentating.
We can totally do that. They do it all the time for when they're playing each other. You know what I'm saying? When they're playing each other on the actual. It's the two guys split off.
I did that.
We could just be together though. Just put our faces together.
We'll figure that out because I want to. But all right, yeah. So what's this thing that you got pulling up, and then we're gonna wrap up because we're already at an hour and 15.
Yeah, I did wanted to use this as the closeout, actually. So we've talked about it before. When the XFL came around a few years ago, its second incarnation, I was a huge fan. Had it not been for COVID, we'd probably be coming into seeing the championship of season 3 right now. Everybody knows The Rock bought it. I was scrolling Facebook while y'all were talking something, and I saw that they went black on all their social media, and I went and looked. So they announced this today. Need to scroll. So they have some kind of big announcement. I would think they're about to announce the teams for the 2023 season.
And a start date.
Well, they pretty much said that they're gonna stick with pretty much the same schedule, so January. But I think you're about to see a new San Antonio team. They're renaming Houston because they got so much bullshit with that. They got sued by the NFL, by the Astros, the Texans, the Titans.
What was the Houston's name?
It wasn't even the name, it was the logo. It was the Roughnecks, but they used an oil derrick that looked a lot like
their logo looked a lot like the old Oilers logo.
Yeah, it looked a lot like the old Oilers.
Oh, I gotcha.
And
guys, how is that fucking like? Come on, it's all right. You can take influence from other like. It's kind of cool that they were like, "Hey, it's not the Oilers, but it is," and we're not that relevant.
That's one of the things that I loved about it. Is it made me feel like a tribute.
Right. And that's the thing is I didn't, and I think that the reason why they got the lawsuits was about money, and I'm hoping that they can just work that out, because I legitimately thought that sorry, Alexa just started yelling or something. I don't know what happened there.
That was Dan.
But I liked that it was a nice little tribute. But I think somebody better make sure that they get St. Louis a football team, whether it's the UFSL or the USFL or the XFL or both.
There's no way the Dragons don't come back. They were killing it in St. Louis with the Dragons, setting records.
It was the Battlehawks, wasn't it?
Or was it the? No, you're right. St. Louis Battlehawks. The Dragons was a different team.
Yeah.
And I mean, they hold the record for the world's longest beer steak in that stadium.
I remember that. That was funny as hell. Great video to watch on YouTube if you're interested.
Great video because one of the greatest commissioners of all time in Luck come out there.
Yeah, PJ Luck,
did the final cut. And honestly, I know he only had half a season, but I will argue that with anybody that he was one of the best commissioners we've ever seen.
He did. I mean, for what it was, he did really well. I think time will tell.
Innovated.
It was definitely a breath of fresh air from a commissioner perspective in almost the same way that Silver has been for the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
Silver was dramatically better. I'm not going to take anything away from what he did, but what PJ Luck did there was really, really good. And I hope that he gets the opportunity to do it again.
I don't think he's going to get the chance with they've already named their commissioner and it's no one I recognized. And then Danny Garcia has a lot. Like, she's the CEO. She has a lot of pull in that. But I'm excited. I'm hoping they can pull lightning in a bottle again. I'm excited for it. Like, I was loving the XFL. It was fun. It was you were seeing more run backs. All the things that I feel the NFL misses now, the XFL had.
Well, there's a lot of, and the NFL has already said they're going to use the XFL to test some different things.
Yeah, they actually announced a partnership a few weeks ago.
Yeah, and that I think that's brilliant. I think that's a great way to do it. It can quell a lot of arguments because I understand that there are certain things on paper that don't work when they get put into action. So let's see that on a less, on a scale where we're not dealing with billion-dollar organizations to see how it works, and then we can tweak and go from there. I don't think it's a bad idea.
I agree. Well, and I mean, there's been a couple of things that the XFL did a few years ago that the NFL's already adopted.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I loved about the XFL is they weren't just having mics in the QB's headset. The wide receivers had mics in it, so the coaches could communicate. The wide receiver coaches could communicate with the wide receivers on field. And I would love to see more of that. I think that's helpful.
Some open, yeah. So actually behind the scenes stuff.
And I think that's not a bad thing, but the one thing that I think about from a technology standpoint that you start to see is when you're looking at stuff like that, there becomes the risk of a lot of signal issues and interference and hijacking signals. And is one team doing something to cause the other team to have issues? So I think that that's the reason for one on each side. And because here's the thing, if one side goes down, the other side can't use theirs.
Yeah.
And so, if you open that up, that's where my concern is going to be, is that the technology problems on something like that, especially with wireless signal, is ridiculous. And so that's really where my concern would be on something like that.
I agree. But yeah, I'm excited to see what this announcement is. Like I said, I'm betting it's probably teams and an official start date, because they've sworn that 2023 it will start. And to me, things like this and the USFL and this fan-ran league that Manziel is playing in and everything.
Oh, and T.O.'s coming back to play in.
T.O.'s coming back to play in. And like, I mean, so there's a wrestler who owns one of.
Oh, you didn't hear about that, Dan?
Yeah, he's coming back to play. What is the name of this?
No, league? I know about guys. I'm a regular follower of T.O. I know everything that T.O. does. I can
like tell you what he had for breakfast this morning.
Hey guys,
the
workout in the driveway to die for.
So it's the FCF, the Fan Controlled Football League, and if y'all haven't checked this out, like, most people would know him as Rusev. He owns one of these teams. He's a part owner of one of these teams, a wrestler, and like, I think Beast Mode owns part of one team. Snoop Dogg owns part of a team or something like that.
You know what you guys just did? You guys just connected the dots. I have a
Did we just finish your Matt Castle to LeBron James?
I have a Matt Castle LeBron connection.
Oh, god damn it. All right, let's hear it to wrap it up.
I wouldn't have got it unless you guys were talking about that shit. So I'll do it backward. LeBron James is from
Cleveland.
Akron, Ohio.
Oh, Akron, sorry.
Akron, Ohio is the hometown of Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel was the defensive coordinator for the 2008 New England Patriots that Matt Castle was the quarterback of.
He did it in 4, ladies and gentlemen.
That's a tough one, though, for real. You got to like work some shit through fucking Ohio and stuff. And
we're going to keep this up because he has not he has not went more than 4 yet to connect players to LeBron James. We're going to do this again next week, and I'm going to do some research, and I'm going to find the most pure fucking player in the world. I want you to connect friggin'
Boban Marjanovic.
Pele.
I want you to connect
Pele to LeBron James.
We need to discuss, we need to figure out the rules, though, because if you guys just let me do anything, I'll fucking interact a gray alien with LeBron James. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need to figure out what the actual rules of what the 7 degrees are.
Figure out the rules, because I'm going to come up with a whole segment for this shit.
It has to be.
We're going to need an intro for this one. This is a thing now.
The 7 degrees of LeBron James with Dan and Dick Werner.
It should be the 7 inches of LeBron James.
And the dick with a dick joke.
And on that note,
no, guys, it's totally bigger than that. It's got to be.
Oh man,
I don't need any more connections though, so we're good. Keep it at 7. That's awesome.
All right. Okay, Josie, any final thoughts tonight?
Oh, I'm going to say it again. My dick of the week. I said this on Sports Report. My dick of the week. Shit. Now my mind just blanked. Who did I say? Fuck. My mind just went away. It just went.
I believe you said Simone Biles.
I
didn't
what
know.
the fuck is wrong with you?
Why? She just got engaged
To a leprechaun? I don't know. What?
No, he's a wide receiver for the Texans.
Yeah.
Who?
Um,
Hang on. This is interesting. It's
Oh,
not.
you didn't know that she got engaged to an NFL player? Yeah.
It's not
they've
dude.
been
Is
dating
it?
for years.
Is it KK Cute?
No, it's not QT.
No.
Is it dude with dreads?
Jonathan Owens, yes.
Yes. Fucking give me a second. Do the
Jonathan Owens.
Who?
Jonathan Owens.
Jonathan Owens. Okay, that's not who I was thinking of. I was thinking dude who went to Oklahoma.
No.
Actually, pretty good.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't go to Oklahoma. God, where did he go? Was it Notre Dame?
I'm looking him up.
I bet she looks like a pencil topper on that thing.
God damn it!
God damn it, Dan.
Okay.
He's a safety. He played for Missouri Western.
That's what it. That's what it was. Okay.
He went to Mo fucking West, bro, and Scout out St. Joe. That's in St. Joseph, Missouri, man.
Oh man! And based on his
Wow.
age, you do realize that based on his age, we probably ran into him at some point.
We knew him. I partied with him in the dorm.
We had to have we had to have ran into him at some point.
He's
Man.
26.
I probably walked up to him and went,
You know
"Hey,
what?
man, one day you're
Yeah,
gonna
he
be
would have been a
inside
call.
Simone
Yeah,
Biles." He
it's
was like, "What?
Just shut the
What the
fuck.
fuck is that?"
Shut the fuck up.
I was like, "I tell the future, man," and just walked off. And he was like, "That freaked me out."
And then he
He
met
felt
Simone
scary.
Biles. Yeah. Shut the fuck up. Okay. Dan, anything from you?
If you've never been kicked out of a Missouri Western fucking dorm room, you have never lived a life.
Oh
okay?
God.
I mean,
college
just-
flashbacks.
We used to get beer 30. Josie, you ever heard of beer 30 before?
Mm-hmm.
You know what beer 30 is? Where it just says beer on the side of the thing,
Yes.
and every can just says beer on it.
Yes.
Just imagine those everywhere with like a lot of semen. There's a lot of semen everywhere for really no reason at all. A lot of semen, and then Louisville Chugler.
We had a tradition at Missouri Western for spring break and for fall break, and it's called you just do a 30-pack a day for 7 days. Beer Mageddon.
Yes.
My
Yep.
fucking God.
Yeah. Also,
Yep.
Wait,
would
didn't they copy that in Blue Mountain State? Didn't they do that in Blue Mountain State?
I mean, Blue Mountain State was popular at that point when I was going, so it's entirely possible that they got it from that. But we did that. Like
yes.
like if I die of liver failure at some point, you're going to be able to look back to that exact week and see what started it.
Bro, we implemented that same thing, the spring break 7-day thing, the 30-pack, into Christmas. So you do the 7 days of 30 Christmas, and you build a Christmas tree out of beer cans. You have to fill the basin and everything. Like you have to actually make like a whole thing. You have to make it out of beer cans. You have to glue them all together.
Yeah.
And
I think I remember you telling me about that one too.
You are just like I have pictures of it. Like me and Scott Burnett are just like wrapped around a Christmas tree.
It was
highlight. It's 6 feet tall. The whole thing is filled in. That's the kicker. You can't just do it on the outside. You have to fill the
and it was PBR cans too, mostly, wasn't it?
High Life.
Oh, High Life.
Miller
That's
High
what
Life.
it was. Okay. Yeah, he is. That's right. Scotty B does like the Miller High Life. I remember.
I like the Miller High Life too. It's just a little bit.
It's not bad. Yeah.
It's just like it's a lot. It's the champagne of beers, man.
It really is.
Very celebratory.
Oh, I'm gonna pull this picture up just to see if y'all recognize this dude. Hang on.
Who's it? Were we talking about someone from
Jonathan Owens.
Oh, I have one right here. Yeah.
Yeah, he had to have come into the D&G at some point. He looks familiar. And I know for those of you that haven't been to St. Joe, Black people stand out. I'm just going to say
they definitely do.
It's not disrespectful. Like, but there's a certain part of town that most of them stay in if they're not at the college.
Right.
And so if they're outside of that area, we notice.
Only like 6 of them venture out, and we follow them like we're the crocodile hunter.
And it's just to keep them safe.
It is. It really
not
is.
for any racist reasons at all.
Their safety from the people that live there. Just if you've never been there, just hang out for a second. It'll sink in.
Yeah. But no, anyway.
Oh,
yeah, he does look familiar at some point. I don't know.
7, I was going to get to tell you, looks like I'm going to get to check off a ballpark off my bucket list this year.
Where you going?
I drove by, and I'm going to try and go to a game at the Great American Ballpark.
In Arlington?
No, Great American Cincy's. That's
Cincinnati. Okay, yeah.
That's one. And then I'm only about 6 hours from the number one, and that's Boston. I want to go watch a game on the big green, man.
Here's the thing. If you get to go to Fenway before I do, I will speed up your transition. I'm just throwing it out there.
So
rusty knife, I'll just cut it off. Just gone. No,
I don't plan on getting rid of that though.
Then you better plan your schedule around and not go to my fucking ballpark before I do.
I've wanted to go to Fenway since I was a little kid, man.
That's a personal fucking problem. I'm a Red Sox fan. I get to go first.
They're probably the Boston ranks like number 2, number 3 on my team list. No one's gonna take Houston for me, but I've always loved Boston. I love the history of Boston. I love the city. I love the people. Let's go.
Let me tell you this much, Josie. They don't want you as a fan. If you're going to be a secondary fan, they don't want you.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're my second team. They'll be like, fuck off.
Well,
all right.
And with how Boston treats black people and anybody that's not straight, I would just be careful.
Josie, I know who you are and I know who you're not. And you're not a fucking, hey, listen, you're not a fucking Boston fan. You get off the fucking radio, Josie.
You're gonna kill 7.
Get off the fucking radio with your fucking, with your blue hair. If you would have said that you were a fucking Boston fan in the first place, I'd have believed you. But get the fuck out of here. I know who you are and I know who you're not.
Oh my god, I'm dying. Okay. All right. Final thoughts for me. I can't breathe, and don't forget to check out. I will be me and my partner Craig Newton for the winter meetings. My co-host, he and I will be interviewing former Yankees pitcher Stephon Weaver on Sunday. So definitely check that out. He did get to pitch for the Yankees in 1982, and he is also a Red Sox fan. So it's going to be a great discussion, and I can't wait to do it. You can check all this out next Monday at 10 p.m. Eastern, right here on all the Pinfall channels.
When are you going to have D-Ross back on?
He's getting ready. He is actually doing another season of Arena Football, so it's probably going to be after the season. He is going to do one more year. He was actually trying to buy the Albany Empire. And I think it was just he couldn't get an investor. I don't know what we didn't buy jerseys. We didn't buy enough jerseys. It's your guys' fault.
That's our fault. It's our fault. It's really on us.
It really is.
Hey, check out the sports report. My boy Seven's wicked fucking smart. He's wicked fucking smart. He loves baseball. He loves the Sox. Go fucking Sox. Go fucking Sox.
Oh God. All right.
I just pour a beer in my head and yell the N-word, and that's the end of the show.
That's not the end of the show.
Wicked fucking smart. Hey.
No. And there's a Boston fan.
They're okay if they play for my sports teams, all right, but not anywhere else.
I'm also a Patriots fan.
I'm also a fucking Boston Patriots fan. I call them the Boston Patriots because that's the real name.
And the Bruins. And the Bruins. You got to have the hockey, too.
Uptown Mass, man.
All right, guys.
Hey, it was me and Seven and my boy Brian Scalabrine. And fucking we were just drinking fucking kegs of beer. Hey, and Marty Scorsese shows up. Fucking Marty. Fucking Marty. Marty can drink like a fucking fish, bro. Marty can fucking drink. All right.
And Marky Mark shows up.
Oh God!
It's an over-accentuated Boston accent.
All right, y'all.
Josie,
thank you. Dick, buddy,
your cousin from Boston. I love this.
Yeah, great. Dick, thank you for joining me as well. I am Seven. We'll catch you guys next week right here on Sports Report. After
Good show, guys.
Good show.
Hey, fucking wicked fire.